What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Dolly back in the house again. If you're just tuning in, of course, give this video a like. If you're brand new, sub us up and ring that bell for notifications so you know when we go live. Okay, Jordan has confessed. That's right. We have a confession. Now, he didn't confess that he killed his friends, but he did confess that he has a problem with doing drugs. A friend close to Jordan was able to speak with Jordan, and he's saying some of these things that are being said about him are absolutely crazy. One, the thing about him being a chemist, he says he has never made drugs for his friends. He is a scientist, but he is not a chemist, okay? He is not a chemist. So Jordan's saying that he does have a problem. He has a problem with alcohol for the past 15 years. Now, we did do a little diving into Jordan's history when this first all started. And he had some charges that looked like he was doing a little swerving and curving and a little sipping and tipping, but got off of those charges because, you know, back then, Jordan must have had a really good lawyer, unlike today. Now, his lawyer he got right now is kind of like a used car salesman. He's worse than my cousin Vinny. Basically, this man cannot keep a story straight for 10 whole minutes, right? He will get up on a news interview and change his story within a matter of 5 minutes. Even if Jordan was 100% innocent in the beginning of this, his lawyer made him look guilty as can be. But Jordan says he's been battling drinking for over 15 years. Now, we do know when the police finally did come to the door that Jordan came to the door in his boxers with a glass of wine. Now, Jordan says he does have alcohol problems, but he's not a drug addict. He does not have a problem with drugs. He just occasionally dabbles in drugs. Now, we know he got lucky this time. 3 of his friends, not so lucky. So we do know maybe there is some truth to the alcohol stuff. Now, we also know that the person that went over to the house, knocked on the door, was David Harrington's fiance. And she also broke in the house, which some people don't find that odd. They're like, oh, still, that's B&E. That's B&E. Like, you know, I can see knocking on the door, going around to the back, knocking. But this lady said to hell with it, and she broke in the house. Now, according to Jordan's lawyer, Jordan would have been asleep on the couch with noise-canceling headphones, a fan on them. But when she broke into this house, she literally had to go through the living room to get to the back where she saw the first body in the backyard. So she immediately leaves, calls the police. Jordan's in the house, still not aware of what's going on. Now, according to his lawyer, one time he was asleep. One time the lawyer said he left a couple times, seen the vehicles, didn't think it was strange. Maybe they all rode together. At no point, apparently, did Jordan notice the wallet or the keys that were sitting up on his table. Now, a lot of people believe the reason that the wallets were out of their pockets is because they were using their licenses and their credit cards to chop lines with the drugs they are having. I still believe that, you know, Jordan may have been out for 24 hours and he cleaned up the paraphernalia to the drugs. Now, for these people to die, they couldn't have cleaned up the paraphernalia. Let's just say they went out there and they had a mirror and they were chopping stuff up. Those things would still be there. My question has always been, who cleaned these things up? Okay, now did Jordan get up and think, okay, well, we did a bunch of drugs last night. Nothing's wrong. Let me clean these things up. And he did that not knowing that his friends had lost their life in the backyard. He's just normal, wake up, clean up the house, let me do my thing. And how you don't notice somebody beating on the door, breaking in the house, but you hear the police the first time they knock on the door. Now, according to the neighbors, there's videos that surfaced of when the police pulled Jordan out of the home. A lot of people are saying he was handcuffed, really hard to see, but at some point they let Jordan go. They didn't take Jordan down to the police station. They did continue to search the home. When the police came out, they said, hey, we found no drugs. We found no paraphernalia. There's no signs of a struggle. There's no signs of foul play. And they ruled out homicide, that these people just died. A lot of people thought that was a little early. That was a little early because we didn't know any of the story of what was going on. Like we knew from Alex that Alex had went over there shortly before these people had consumed these drugs, and he said everything was fine. That Jordan, Ricky, David, Clayton, they were sitting around watching Jeopardy, okay, which is a little strange, but hey, you partying and you want to watch some Jeopardy? I ain't got nothing against you. Now, Alex leaves shortly before midnight. Thank God he leaves and does not partake in these drugs, or we don't know, but we do know Alex Lee survived, okay? Now, Alex Lee, like I said, he tells us, what was happening. He says he don't say anything about drugs. And then in the beginning, the lawyer says, hey, I'm not going to speak on what these guys allegedly may have been doing while my client was asleep. He kept saying that Jordan was asleep. But now we know that Jordan wasn't asleep, that Jordan was up. Jordan was taking part in the drinking because they did have 230 packs, and he was also taking part in the doing the drugs. Okay, that's what put him out of it. That's why he was a little loopy. That may be why he quite didn't know what's going on. And thank God Alex left, because, when we looked into Alex's past, he had a history with narcotics. So maybe if he would have stuck around and did some of those, we would have had 4 people dead in Kansas instead of 3. And we lucky it wasn't even more. And whoever is out there selling these drugs on the street, the police need to make the public aware that, hey, there's some bad drugs definitely going around. Now, Dr. Bodden came out and said he don't believe, the fentanyl levels were enough to kill him. A lot of people on the internet rumor, their fentanyl levels were in the 30. 30 could kill some people, but some people could do 30 like it's nothing. Dr. Bodden said it could be up in the hundreds and people be perfectly fine. Some people have built tolerances to fentanyl. Now, most likely they didn't have any tolerances, but he believed it was just enough to sedate them, knock them out, and put them to sleep. And within an hour, hypothermia set in, and these 3 men froze to death. Okay, cause of death would be freezing to death with drugs as a contributing factor. Okay, not the other way around. It would be hypothermia with drugs being a contributing factor. Now, they're saying in their system they found multiple drugs. They didn't name every drug. We do know that the Coca-Cola was in there. The fentanyl was in there. They had some THC in there and maybe some other things. A lot of people were rumoring they did the Jordanol, some drugs that Jordan made, but he's saying he ain't, sources close to him are saying he's not a chemist, and he denies making any drugs for any of his friends at any time, and that he's not really even a drug addict, that he's more of a drinker, and he does dabble, and he's chose to get this help and to try to change his life because of the events that happened. It is crazy. Just imagine you wake up and 3 of your friends are gone, and Jordan really don't have nothing to do with it other than he was just like them and he was doing the drugs. Now, the family has blamed Jordan for buying it, saying that they didn't have money. We're talking 3 grown men. They had money for beer and other things. And we also know drugs do not cost much. These hard, crazy drugs that'll kill you, you can pretty much get them dirt cheap. $10 is enough to kill you. So they didn't really need much. And had they been doing these drugs throughout the night, and then that last little bit they did, was it enough to kill them? But Jordan at some point had to have woke up. He had to have cleaned up whatever they were doing the drugs with. And what I think he's mostly guilty of is being a really bad friend. Because as we look into it, are they going to charge Jordan with this? Most likely they're not. He checked himself in to rehab, one, to help him in a legal proceeding, just in case a legal proceeding does come, for not reporting the deaths of his friends. In order for them to charge him with manslaughter or second-degree murder or anything like that, they would have to be able to prove some type of intent, which they don't have. They would have to have a witness that says they seen him spike something of that nature, which they don't have because Alex left and the other 3 people that were there are gone. So they don't have this proof they need against Jordan to charge him with any crimes. The only charge they could possibly charge him with is not reporting the death. Okay. And this is why he's coming out saying, yeah, I was on drugs too. I was unconscious. This is why I couldn't report. This is why I didn't notice it. And if you look at it, it starts to make more sense. Now, when he got up, not seeing the wallets and keys, that don't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't. It's a little strange because, you know, I kind of truly believed he may have knew and been scared and didn't report it. Now, that carries prison time. That does carry some time, but I don't think Jordan's going to be hit with it. You guys let me know what you think below. Jordan confessed that he does do the drugs. He's been a bad drinker for 15 years, but he is not responsible for giving his friends any type of drugs. He's saying he did not supply the drugs to David, Clayton, and Ricky. Somebody out there did, and that person needs to pay the price. So if Jordan, of course, if he knows where these drugs came from, or who Ricky, David, or whoever got the drugs or acquired the drugs got them, where they came from, he needs to speak up quickly. It could save a life. Look, I want to thank everybody who's been coming by, liking the videos, and has been donating to Dolly going to CrimeCon 2024. CrimeCon is in Nashville. It's May 31st through June 2nd. We're going to be having a meet and greet there. So if you want to meet Dolly, PJ, and little Lolo, we will be in Nashville. So replay crew, tell me what you think about the confession of Jordan. And do you think he will be brought up on charges? Let me know in the comment box down below. I love reading each and every one. And if you haven't yet, like the video. If you made it this far and haven't subbed up, sub us up, okay? And ring the bell for notifications. I'm your boy Dolly, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.